All right, what's going on, everybody? So let's talk a little bit about the lay of the land the night before the election. Now, we've had at least 70, 80, I think, million mail-in or early voting people, and they've been surveyed. They've done a lot of exit polls and so many things. And so we're going to go over a little bit of this, but just as a caveat, as we've seen from 2016 and beyond, and of course, if you know about 2020, you know about 2020, but even the polling information and the inherent statistical anomaly and within some margin of error, all that stuff, it's been very close, especially with the battleground states. So you cannot take this data for what it is going into tomorrow. And so, of course, everything that's happening so far, people are projecting, but also there is this sense of a realistic survey or data behind all of this. But it's only as good as the people making the data. So if they're inaccurate in the input, then of course the output is flawed as well. And so I'm going to go over a couple of things here. But the overall consensus is that a lot of these guys, including 538, which is a very popular statistics website that does sports and many other things, even Polymarket, people that are betting a lot of money on the outcome, they're all saying Trump right now is up, winning in all of these, some of these states. Of course, some battleground states going towards, quote unquote, for Harris and all that stuff. But really the consensus here, even among left-leaning or neutral or supposed neutral, are leaning towards Trump being the declared winner. And so let's take a look at some of the stats as well as the averages. We have here RCP, who has done some battleground state averages, and this is across many news outlets or polling organizations as well as some news outlets. So Arizona, let's start there. So Arizona, of course, has a 2.7 spread in favor of Trump. And this goes across all, in some sense, the averages, including CNN. And of course, CNN and just any of the liberal leaning news outlets or liberal outlets, they are all going to have some bias towards Harris. And so we are seeing a clear Trump victory in a sense, if you want to say flipping, but of course we know what happened in 2020 for Arizona, for that state. Nevada, we're also seeing a 1-point spread for Trump. There's a little bit of mix with New York Times, and then you got Noble as well as Bloomberg leaning towards Harris. But all in all, I don't want to say solid, but a leaning Nevada win for Trump. Now let's go to Wisconsin. Wisconsin, of course, here they're saying a 0.4 spread towards Harris, and this is sort of mixed in a sense across the board with different polling, organizations. Rasmussen saying 3 points, the highest for Trump, and then some others saying tie, and then of course you got CNN saying +6, and then others, just a mixed bag. Same thing goes here for Michigan. Michigan is 0.6 spread, and so they are here saying across the board, and even Rasmussen, that it is leaning towards Harris. Only two, Atlas and Trafalgar, is saying 1 and 2 point for Trump, but everybody else saying Michigan. And then the rest of the battleground states, the Pennsylvania, of course, leaning in recent news over the weekend and stuff, leaning more heavily towards Trump, 0.3 as an average, but everybody else, again, a little bit of a mixed bag. And even some of these guys, pay attention, CNN, CBS, these guys saying it's a tie. So you know what that means. It's leaning towards Trump. And so that's that. And then North Carolina and Georgia. Georgia looks to be the strongest in favor of Trump among the other states, but we are seeing here a 1.7 spread, and then everybody else except the New York Times saying Trump. So that's a heavy Trump. Arizona was the highest, and then it's Georgia, and then we have North Carolina in third at the highest spread. So this comes from RCP, guys. It's just averaging all of sort of the major polling, centers and what they're saying. And then, of course, you have the statistics behind all of the analysis of either where money is going, right? Follow the money, or where heavily statistical focused. And again, I don't want to say these guys are left or right leaning. I believe they are more left leaning, but even they are saying, this is 538, I think Nate Silver or something like that. They are saying 187 for Trump. And of course you need 287 for Trump. You need 270 to win it. And so again, all of these states, the toss-up states, some of them we'll see tomorrow. Again, we have to wait till the end. And of course, I've said before, they're going to do some shenanigans. Trump has also said before that this election will not be stolen in the sense that the military, the White Hats, whatever you want to call it, they've had things shored up. You have the Space Force, you have all these things and some election laws, new things now out there. And now you have all of us, meaning the regular people out there monitoring, checking, poll watchers, and all that stuff. And so in some sense, you're going to have more stability, quote unquote, than 2020. But don't be shocked that they're going to try to pull some shenanigans at the very last minute in the ninth hour and also afterwards, because again, they're going to try to do some stuff to not certify this election if it goes to that degree, and they want to cause civil war. And so what we got to do, a lot of us, if you are able to vote, go out and vote tomorrow. If you are in America, this country, America, is critical for the whole world. Everybody looks at America. Everybody sees the direction America goes, and then it's going to set the tone for the rest of the world. And so this is a big thing. I know a lot of us are watching from different countries. Many people in Europe, Asia, across the world, they're looking to tomorrow as being a big critical day. Now, of course, I don't want to say it's going to be finalized tomorrow in the sense of he's going to be declared the winner. There's going to be some, pushback and all that stuff, but be very careful. National Guard, these guys are being activated, many other law enforcement agencies, and who knows what the military is doing in all of this behind the scenes. So this is the update, guys. We're leaning towards Trump here, but again, go out tomorrow, vote, do your thing, and let's take back this country from the radical left and instill righteousness. Declare the Lord as being sovereign over this nation. Of course, it's not about Trump. It's not about people. It's about God using certain people to instill righteousness and to restore order and to declare him Lord over all things and tear down our modern day Asherah poles, our statues of Baal and whatnot. And we need to move in that direction. If you think that Christianity beliefs should be separate from politics, you are wrong in that you need to have laws and orders. You need to have certain standards to live by. And just like we saw in the Bible with the Old Testament, the Israelites, you need to declare the Lord over everything and tear down methods for which there are demonic strongholds as much as you can. Until Christ comes, it's not going to be fully cleaned, but God is honored by when you put him first, even as a nation. You can't just hole up in a church and think that, this is not for me. Politics, it was instilled in everything, even through the Israelites' time before Christ was born and all of that history. And so again, Christ is going to come back. God's going to be declared the winner, right, over all of this. And tomorrow we'll see how this shapes up as things unfold. But from the behind the scenes military ops, that perspective, it's going to end. We're going to see Trump win. But from the optics outside perspective, you're going to see much of, some chaos and some other stuff. So just be ready for that. But it's no worry. So love you guys. Be encouraged. Talk to you guys very soon.